What if I told you crawling is actually one of the best ways to improve your strength, mobility, and coordination? In today's video, I'm going to show you variations that you can start to incorporate from very basic to starting to flow and transition from one type of crawl to another. You may have stopped doing this exercise when you're a baby, but there are so many benefits of keeping up your crawling as an adult and incorporating it as part of your weekly program. Crawling is such a full body reset, and it is really great to connect us back to the ground and give us a connection to our body that we maybe don't have if we are just doing conventional strength training. The benefits include wrist strength and stability, really bulletproofs your shoulders because of the stability required in your entire shoulder girdle. It's also an excellent core exercise, and it really works your brain in terms of your coordination and connection to your body. So let's get into the basics and develop it from there. Okay, so first I suggest you take off your shoes so that our toes can get some good mobility as we crawl. And as you put your hands onto the ground, you really want to spread your fingers to make as much connection as you can with the ground. Bring those knees right underneath your hips and hands underneath your shoulders. Now we want to try and maintain a neutral spine as we move through our crawl. So if you drop your back, you'll notice you're in extension. You round your back, you're in flexion. We want to find a point where we're halfway in between. Shoulders away from your ears, and from here you can tuck your toes. Now let's just play with a few simple hovers here. So with the toes tucked, as you take your next exhale breath, draw the sides of your waist in, so where these bony landmarks are, draw them in and just hover the knees off the ground. And you can just hold here for a few deep breaths. You may even want to just have a play here, sort of shifting to the left hand and foot a little bit and shifting to the right. You may want to lean back a little bit into the feet and then bring your weight back into the hands, back into the feet and back into the hands and lower. We'll try that again. So exhale, draw the sides of the waist in, knees hover. Here we can even try some gentle taps. So both knees drop down and both knees draw up. Both knees drop down. So little touches with the knees very lightly onto the ground. I'm sure you're already feeling that core starting to engage, and then you can take a rest. If at any point through these exercises your wrists get sore, simply just interlace your hands and give them a little roll around as you need. Okay, so let's get back into it. So we're going to come back into this quadruped position, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. From here, we're going to exhale and draw those knees back up off the ground. Now we can try playing with taking one hand off. So we have a 3-point quadruped. When you're ready, switch sides, try the other hand. You can have a small shift, but you don't want to completely if we want to try and maintain this neutral spine to start with. So trying to keep both hips forward, taking one hand off and the other. So just switching side to side, keeping the hips facing the ground. And then as you progress, you can also, it's just a different variation, maybe open a little bit. So maybe we twist the knees open to one side, we come back, knees facing the ground, switch, a little open. So we're really starting to also just have a play, get acquainted with how our body maneuvers on the ground. All right, and then come back down. The next one, we're going to work on lifting one foot at a time. So again, exhale, knees hover. And now facing the ground again, so nothing else really moves. We just hover one foot off. And the other. So just marching side to side, drawing the sides of the waist in, keeping our breath, keeping the shoulders over the wrists as you lift one at a time. And coming on down. So good. So tuck the toes, press back to like a down dog. However, this can be your nice little rest here. You might want to stretch it out. And then from here, we'll come back to these knees hovering. And again, reach back. And knees hover. And press back. And hover. One more here. Press back. And hover. So now on all fours, we're going to try a contralateral. What that means is the opposite arm to leg reach. So if I come onto all fours and I reach my right hand, I'm going to try at the same time to reach my left leg. Keeping the knee hovering, I come back. Now I try and reach my left hand, and at the same time I try and reach my right leg, and I come back. Reach my right hand, left leg, and come back. Left hand, right leg, and back. Right hand, left leg, opposite, and back. Left hand, right leg, and back, and then come on down. Now, if you're finding these variations are just too much, either maybe on your wrists or your core, you can practice these to start with the knees on the ground. So you could do right arm, left leg with the knee down. There's always a place to start. The other way to build it up would be to do maybe 1 or 2 reps and then have a break, bring the knees down and just keep resetting, because we want to make sure that we have good form as we move through these variations. Let's move through some transitions. Hopefully you're finding these fun and playful, and that's the beauty of crawling, is that it is a little bit more playful. It makes us feel more childlike, I guess. So coming onto all fours, reset, and knees are hovering again. Exhale. From here, the right leg is going to go through to the left as I pick up the left hand. So we call this an under. It goes under, and then I can even bring this hand down and I'm in a little reverse crawl. Then the leg is going to trace its way back and the left hand lowers down. Other side, so I'm back where I started. The left leg goes through to the right as I take the arm over. I end up here and then I take my way back. So let's go side to side using this under variation from our normal crawl to this one, which is what we call our crab crawl position. Nice work. Through and back in. And we want to try and make this as smooth as we can. And as we get better at it, it becomes more flowy. We become softer on the ground. I always say the ground doesn't lie. If we're clunky, if we're dropping things, if we feel pain on our knees, it means that we don't have a lot of control. But that all comes with practice. Last one here, over, and come back through. So the second variation for this transition is to go over. So now my right leg's going to lift off, but it's going to go, instead of going under, I'm going to take it over and step. And I can come back to this crab crawl here. Then the arm will lead, come back the way I came, the leg follows. Now the leg leads, goes over, arm follows, hand follows, and then leg. So leg steps over, arm follows, bottom should just be hovering. Arm and leg, one more here. Step the leg over, arm follows, and then come back through. And then come down. All right, have a break if you need to. We're gonna go through a little bit more of like some movement crawls now. You don't have to go straight forward and back. You can go really in any direction, so use whatever space you have, because I might want to just have a look, remembering that you can crawl forward. So if I keep my knees onto the ground, our crawl is generally contralateral. So if I'm going forward, my right hand is going to lead, my left knee will follow. That is what we call a forward contralateral crawl. Then to go back, my leg is going to lead and my hand follows. So I've got my knees on the ground so I can really focus on my coordination here. And again, seeing if we can really lift and lower with some grace, softness, control. And if you feel you've got that, you're like, yep, easy, Ange, I've got it, then you can reset at any point. Get the knees to hover. And so I'm going to reset here. Knees hover, and you can try this forward and back. Just crawling in. You can go, again, like I said, in any direction. You might do a circle. Maybe the leg leads if you go backward. choop, forward, or backward. Seeing if you could be in control of those switches. You might find it hard to switch directions at the start. Sometimes I give myself a timer for crawling, or sometimes I just try and do 10 forward, 10 back. And then when you're ready, have a rest. Okay, so that is a contralateral forwards and backwards crawl. Another variation which I actually feel a lot of people struggle with the most, so it's definitely worth paying some attention to, is what we call the crab crawl, because this position here is actually, and building this strength is very useful to make sure we can maintain our ability to get up and down off the ground. Because if I'm here and I need to get up off the ground, I have to lift my bum up, and often I need to push that hand into the ground in order for me to lift my hips up so I can actually stand up. So this is a really useful position. Bring the feet in front, hands either turned out or towards you, whatever's more comfortable. Shoulders roll back. From here, press into the ground, hips hover. Now you might need to just practice this position, maybe just playing with lifting one leg and the other. That might be where you start. But if you feel like you want to practice, your foot is going to lead when you go forward. So my left foot will lead, my right hand will follow. And I'll go forward opposite, so contralateral, and backward my hand will lead. And I'll do the same thing going back. And again, forward. Trying to keep as steady and centered as I can back. Okay, and coming down. So now you've got two classic types of crawls, and you've got a transition that you can do between the two. Let's just spend a minute now trying to move through those two. So you can, at any point, move in any direction, and then you can take the leg under, and then you can move into your forward crawl. You can take the leg over and move back into your crab crawl. You can take the leg over and move back into your forward crawl, and so on. Okay, so come and join me, get on the floor, get yourself set up. Remember, you can move in any direction and it's free flowing. You can use your over transition or under transition, forward crawl, backward crawl, your classic quadruped, or your crab crawl. Let's do it. So tuck the toes. I'll grab a timer for 3, 2, let's go. All right. Remember, you don't have to do what I'm doing here. You can do whatever you like. You can transition slowly. Try not to stop is what I would suggest. Just always be thinking as you're crawling, all right, where am I gonna go next? Okay, I'm gonna go over, and then when I get here, I'm gonna go backwards. Okay, I'm gonna go forward, I'm gonna change direction. See if you can keep your brain always thinking what's next and flowing, really feeling the connection, trying to make it as smooth as you can. You might want to do a few transitions and then stop and keep going. Almost there, team. Keep it going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woohoo! Okay, well done. So a little drill, simple like that, once you've learned those foundations, you can add between sets when you're strength training, or you can even add it as a finisher. So I hope you enjoyed moving in more of a unconventional way. Please make sure you incorporate it into your training, either as a warm-up, a cool-down, maybe it's in between sets. It can be so effective, but you need to do it consistently. It is such a great tool to reconnect you with the ground, reconnect you with your body, overall strength, coordination. And I really hope this inspired you to move in more of a way where it requires your whole body and your surroundings. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you subscribe to our channel And also like this video, leave us a comment how you went, and we look forward to moving with you soon.